Legacy Precious Metals is the company that I trust to give you good and patient counsel for investing in your retirement. The Biden administration has caused a financial crisis, and they have no clue how to fix it. Oil prices have skyrocketed, and when oil prices go up, not only do your expenses go up, but the cost of transportation and shipping spikes, leading the prices of goods to rise. And we are already seeing record inflation. That's the last thing that we need. Our economy is in trouble, and you need to take steps to protect yourself. If all your money is tied up in stocks, bonds, and traditional markets, you may be vulnerable. So gold is one of the very best ways to protect your retirement. No matter what happens, you own your own gold. It's real, it's physical, and it's always been valuable since the dawn of time. Call Legacy Precious Metals today at 866-528-1903 or visit them online at legacypminvestments.com. That's legacypminvestments.com, where you can download the free investor's guide. You can also go to my Facebook page, Jenna Ellis. I am a public figure on Facebook, and I just posted yesterday a really great interview with the president of Legacy Precious Metals, who is discussing why you need to start your retirement account even if you're in your 20s or 30s. There is always a great time to protect your retirement and invest, just like you want to protect your health over the long term. So go to Legacy Precious Metals at legacypminvestments.com or call 866-528-1903.
As a constitutional law attorney, former senior legal advisor, and personal counsel to President Donald J. Trump, Jenna Ellis believes in the rule of law and the importance of integrity in our elections. And she's ready to tackle the big cultural and legal issues facing America. This is the Jenna Ellis Show. Here is your host, Jenna Ellis.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Jenna Ellis Show. I'm Jenna Ellis, and I'm so excited today to have on my good friend, Doug Mastriano, who, of course, is running for governor in the great state of Pennsylvania, and I have the privilege and honor of being a senior advisor on his campaign. And, Doug, thank you so much for joining me again today.
It's great to see you, Jenna. We had a good time on tour back in May and look forward to having you back on here, hopefully this summer.
Yes, absolutely. Looking forward to coming up, and especially for the rally next week. So Governor Ron DeSantis is now partnering with Turning Point Action for a Unite and Win tour. So he is coming specifically to Pennsylvania to support you. And this rally is going to be next Friday on August 19th. And everyone can go to TPUSA Action, look for tickets and everything there. But what does this mean to you, Doug, for this race in Pennsylvania, to see the coalition of really prominent conservatives who love this country, care about the Constitution, now specifically coming to support your race for governor? I think it's the most important race in the country. What does it mean to you?
I think it's fantastic. Love the title, Unite and Win. That's exactly what we need to do. You know, you were there. We had a tough primary, 9 people on the ballot, and the most contentious primary since 1978 for a gubernatorial level in Pennsylvania. But you were in the room. We won overwhelmingly. We won early, which was fantastic. Look forward to that on November 8th. But to get there, we're outfunded, obviously. The media is massively in the pocket of my opponent, working hard for him. And so it's an imperative that Republicans come together. And so for Ron DeSantis to kick off his Unite and Win tour in Pennsylvania, I think is very apropos, since this is where it all began in 1776. But also the contrast, we have the model of a great governor down in Florida who did just about everything right when the COVID happened, and putting the power in the hands of the people. And then coming to Pennsylvania, where our governor, together with his attorney general, did everything wrong, shut businesses down, gagged the kids, jab for job requirements, and on and on and on. And what a stark contrast. So Pennsylvania, we have this opportunity to become the Florida of the North.
Yes, and the Keystone State needs to become the Keystone State again in terms of the beacon of light and liberty. And that's what your campaign is all about, is walking as a free people and making sure that everything that the Wolf administration did wrong, which of course your opponent, the current attorney general, did everything wrong, is still doing everything wrong. I mean, let's not forget, he's the one who sued the Little Sisters of the Poor. I mean, a guy who is suing nuns over practicing their religious beliefs, who is so pro-abortion that he doesn't even see the conflict there in terms of protecting life. I mean, seeing all of these ridiculous things that he is for, including masking school children still in 2022. He just issued a brief that was in support of the Biden administration. I mean, this is a guy who is so ridiculously power hungry in Pennsylvania. That is a stark contrast between your campaign, what you stand for, and what I believe the people of Pennsylvania stand for, which is to be free, to make their own choices, and to walk as a free people. And so describe more of that contrast and what you'll bring to Pennsylvania that is a contrast to the dark days of the Wolf administration.
So, I mean, he's our attorney general. And so 6 years as AG in Pennsylvania. And how has his record gone? 6 years, he has a record, he can't run on it. So instead he has to devolve to name calling. I feel like I'm back in middle school here with the ridiculous name callings and allegations. But of course, the middle school, I mean, the comparison is true, but sadly the media amplifies his message. But let's just talk in facts. And you and I, love facts. And so as Attorney General, crime has gone up on his watch, and he calls himself the top cop. He's not a cop; he didn't walk a beat, but he surely is a senior law enforcement official. Crime has gone up 37% on his watch. He deserves an F. We are now number 12th in murders in the nation, number 8th in overdose deaths, and he does nothing. We had a bunch of murders in Philadelphia yesterday, and instead of doing anything about it, he's goofing off at a Pittsburgh game. Just you can't make this stuff up. Who sues nuns, as you pointed out? I mean, only villains in Marvel Comics go after the little sisters of the poor. Are you serious? Instead of going after Tom Wolf and, Woman of the Year, Secretary Levine, for that policy of sending the sick into the homes, he went after the homes that were ordered to take the sick back, resulting in as many as 16,000 deaths. The guy needs to be held accountable. His record is an F, and he's incompetent. He's too extreme. You pointed out how he's still suing and advocating for kids to be masked up, even though the science isn't there. We had a hearing that demonstrated this. And he's sued to keep businesses shut down. He's a loyal son of the Democrat Party. He doesn't care a lot about the people.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of those names that the left is calling you, because that's all that they have. You're right that they can't run on their own record. They can't. They don't even want to point out their own record. They're not proud of what they did because they know that the truth of it is that they just want control and they want to stifle Americans, shut down small businesses, continue to take control and care away from parents and decision making for their children. I mean, all of this stuff going on in public schools, all of the things in nursing homes. I mean, all of this that you just pointed out. So they are reverting to these sort of middle school types of name calling. So they've called you an extremist. They've called you a Christian nationalist. They've called you anti-Semitic. They've called you, all kinds of names. And so, what's your response to these types of allegations? I mean, it sounds like to me as bogus and ridiculous as, calling all of the people who support America and love the flag, racist. And it's just this kind of knee-jerk reaction to put a negative into the campaign that has no basis in truth and fact.
Yeah, I tend not to even respond to these ridiculous name callings. I mean, during my announcement rally, there was outrage because we had a shofar and a Jewish prayer shawl present, and even a Jewish song, borrowed from Fiddler on the Roof in my rally in Gettysburg. And I was accused of having too much Jewish tradition, and how dare this just Gentile have that. And now suddenly anti-Semitic. It's like, Shapiro, make up your mind. But, when you studied reason and logic, and when you run out of an argument or you don't have a case, you just resort to a logical fallacy called ad hominem, and so a personal attack against a person. So you just start calling names, and we've seen this in the book. You've suffered from that as well. You've experienced that as well. Mm-hmm. And when you run out of arguments, just start calling names. And so, you know what, Revy and I are touring the state here, and we're talking about my issues, what we're going to do for Pennsylvania, and they're going to point out the things they don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about their science-denying policy of thinking it's a great idea to have biological men compete in female sports and rolling back the clock on 50 years of Title IX on women and female opportunities in sports. I mean, Jenna, it's bad when I sound like a feminist on the floor of the Senate and the Democrats sound like these, these domineering males in their messaging, even from the females and Democrats, defending that it's okay for guys to compete on female sports. They don't want to talk about masking up your kids and shutting down your businesses. They don't want to talk about the war on our police that they've had, this culture of hate towards the police. They don't want to talk about crime. I mean, so we have this whole dirty laundry list that Josh Shapiro, the skeletons in his closet, we're opening up the door and saying, they want to distract us, like in that movie Up with the talking dogs. Dogs are having a serious conversation, but they say squirrel, and distraction. That's the Democrats. It's squirrel. So we're like, no, there's no squirrels there, but here's some skeletons. And not only do they have these skeletons, but we have a promise, as you said, to restore freedom in Pennsylvania, to put the power back in the hands of the parents. It's not okay to denigrate parents as domestic terrorists because they go to a school board meeting and have a strong opinion on something. That is what Josh Shapiro personifies, all that's wrong with America right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a really wise move to not allow them to control the narrative and always put you on defense and have to explain all of the reasons why their petty little name calling isn't accurate, because otherwise they are just distracting. And so, talk a little bit about what you are for, because there was a poll done just last week at CPAC, actually, which, of course, I'm boycotting for other reasons. But, a lot of conservatives still go there. And election integrity was actually a bigger issue for people even than inflation. And I think the reason for that is because people understand that elections have consequences, and they understand, and this is why Planned Parenthood and other organizations are sinking a lot of money into states now that the Dobbs decision has come out, and that they know that abortion is a state issue and they can't win that on the merits. And so they are pouring a lot of money into elections in states that they want to either flip or continue to remain blue. And so as you're looking forward to a Mastriano administration, what will you change in Pennsylvania on day one?
So on day one, a lot of our hope is underneath our feet. God has blessed us with so many natural resources here. We can really fuel the economy in Pennsylvania and America and even our allies in Europe. Geologists say we have centuries of energy underneath our feet here. So this is fantastic. So on day one, we're going to be out of this climate accord that Tom Wolf signed us up for, called the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. So on day one, we're out of RGGI. On day one, I'm rolling back 8 years of regulations on the energy sector here. We're opening up state lands on day one. On day one, it's a safety issue here. Only girls go into girls' bathrooms in schools. I mean, that I have to say this, Jenna, shows you how far we've fallen in Pennsylvania. On day one, only biological, we're going to follow the science, only biological females in female sports. I mean, we're just, first 100 days, we're very Byzantine in Pennsylvania. We're overregulated. We have 153,000 state regulations. You know this, we've talked about this. My goal is the first 100 days to get us underneath 100,000 regulations. And then I look forward to signing into law a great bill from the House and Senate. There's mirror versions of it that for every new regulations, 2 have to go away. This will be a net savings. We're going to open up our energy sector here, drive down the costs to heat your businesses and homes. We're going to drive down the costs in so many areas and regulations. For instance, our Department of Environmental Protection took about a year to approve a permit for U.S. Steel to open up a plant by Pittsburgh. That was $1 billion a year plant, and they left the state because it took too long. We're going to speed up our process here to get permits to develop lands and to expand businesses and really just restore freedom. Parents will be empowered, as they should be. That I have to say this shows you how far we've fallen, to empowered to decide what their kids learn. On day one, there'll be no sexualization of our kids. We no transgender discussion. Our Department of Education issued guidance of using, these weird pronouns, Z and XZ, however you say that. I mean, this is madness. On day one, we're rolling that back, and we're just restoring common sense and freedom back into people's hands.
And that sounds amazing. And every Republican, every conservative, every disenfranchised Democrat, every moderate Democrat, everyone who loves freedom and what this country is all about and loves America should be on board with this, as opposed to the radical leftist agenda that has been in Pennsylvania for the last 8+ years. And so, Doug Mastriano, last question, what would you say and what is your message under a unite and win kind of mantra to the Republicans who may have supported someone else in the primary or who are concerned about the polling right now in Pennsylvania? I mean, I've seen you're up and I know that you can win. What is your message to Republicans who I think obviously should get out and vote for you?
Failure is not an option. If you want to have your kids and grandkids with the same opportunities and freedoms that we enjoyed growing up, then I'm the clear choice, because my opponent stands for everything that's wrong with the Democrat Party. It's not the Democrat Party of our parents or grandparents. He stands for a continuation of the oppressive, heavy-handed policies of Tom Wolf. he was asked in an interview in Philadelphia last month by an NBC affiliate, how are you going to be different than Tom Wolfe? And he could not answer that. He deflected. Well, I'm a different person, but I'm really more different than Doug Mastriano. Yes, exactly. That's the delineation we have between the two of us.
Yeah, and he absolutely is very different than Doug Mastriano because you are the best choice for Pennsylvania, and he is not going to give Pennsylvanians the same freedom and liberty and opportunity to walk as a free people as you will. So, Doug, I can't wait to see you again up in Pennsylvania, and everyone can go to doug4gov.com to learn more about Doug Mastriano. You can give if you are out of the state of Pennsylvania or if you're in state and you just want to make a difference. Obviously, this is a grassroots funded movement. And also come and join us up in Pennsylvania in Pittsburgh on August 19th when Governor Ron DeSantis will be there. And you can find that at Turning Point Action. And that is the Unite and Win tour. And Doug, I really appreciate so much. We are praying for you. Love and respect you and Rebby so much and look forward to seeing you. So thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me on. We appreciate you as well and all that you're doing for America. God bless you, Jenna.
God bless. Thanks. Legacy Precious Metals is the company that I trust to give you good and patient counsel for investing in your retirement. The Biden administration has caused a financial crisis, and they have no clue how to fix it. Oil prices have skyrocketed, and when oil prices go up, not only do your expenses go up, but the cost of transportation and shipping spikes, leading the prices of goods to rise. And we are already seeing record inflation. That's the last thing that we need. Our economy is in trouble, and you need to take steps to protect yourself. If all your money is tied up in stocks, bonds, and traditional markets, you may be vulnerable. So gold is one of the very best ways to protect your retirement. No matter what happens, you own your own gold. It's real, it's physical, and it's always been valuable since the dawn of time. Call Legacy Precious Metals today at 866-528-1903 or visit them online at legacypminvestments.com. That's legacypminvestments.com where you can download the free investor's guide. You can also go to my Facebook page, Jenna Ellis. I am a public figure on Facebook, and I just posted yesterday a really great interview with the president of Legacy Precious Metals who is discussing why you need to start your retirement account even if you're in your 20s or 30s. There is always a great time to protect your retirement and invest, just like you want to protect your health over the long term. So go to Legacy Precious Metals at legacypminvestments.com or call 866-528-1903. MyPillow is having their biggest sheet sale of the year. You all have helped build MyPillow into the amazing company that it is today. Now, Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO, wants to give back exclusively to you, his listeners. The Percale bed sheet set is available in a variety of colors and sizes, and they are all on sale. So, for example, the queen size is regularly priced at $89.98, but is now only $39.98 with our listener promo code Jenna, Jenna. So order now because when they're gone, they're gone. The Percale bed sheets are breathable and have a cool and crisp feel. These come with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee, so don't miss out on this incredible offer. There's a limited supply, so be sure to order now. You can call 1-800-564-8475 and use the promo code Jenna, or go to mypillow.com/Jenna. You can click on the radio listeners square and use the promo code Jenna. That's Jenna. Thank you so much to all of Mike Lindell's listeners and listeners of this podcast for making sure to support MyPillow and using our exclusive listener promo code Jenna. That's Jenna.